Alrighty, in this lesson, we're going to start getting into power chords. So, a power chord is simply a two-note chord, and they sound great, and they're really good for rock music. So we're going to start it all the way down here at fret 1. This is actually the hardest place to play power chords, so if we can play it here, we're good to go. So we're going to take our pointer finger, go to fret 1 on string 6. And then you have two options. You can use your third finger to go to fret 3 on your A or 5th string, but you might find that to be very challenging, so you may want to use your pinky. So I'll do it with the pinky for now because, again, you're going to find this to be easier probably, and then later on as you get better, we can go back and replace it with the ring finger, and eventually we'll have to because we'll do a chord like this. But for now, as an introduction to power chords, we're going to do it like that. Now at the picking, we're not strumming anymore. We're going back to that original picking technique. Where we're going to be bracing. Again, you don't have to brace, just a suggestion. And it's more of this like subtle movement with the hand. It's just kind of like more of like a wrist, thumb to finger motion more than an arm motion. And we're only hitting the two strings our fingers are on. And it sounds great. Okay, so now as an exercise, we're going to play the power chord here, and we're going to go up the guitar. So we're going to take our time. We're going to just slide our hand, and now we're on frets 2 and 4. And then we're going to slide our hand again, and we're going to play these two strings. This is called G5, by the way. All these chords, whatever the note is, it's that note, and then the number 5. That's like the name of the chord. So this is G5, for example. You don't have to know all the notes right now. It's for another lesson. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next fret, 4 and 6. Now we're going to go to 5 and 7, slide again to 6 and 8, slide again to 7 and 9. Now, you're going to find that the frets are going to get smaller and smaller, so the stretch you had to do down at the first fret will no longer be necessary when you come up here. So you might find that you might be doing something like this or even that. Just be careful that it's always a fret in between your two fingers. Then we're going to go up to fret 8 and 10, then to 9 and 11, and to 10 and 12. And you could also go back if you wanted to. Okay, then we're going to go to strings 5 and 4. We're going to do the same thing. So fret 1 and fret 3 again. We're just on these two different strings here. We're on 5 and 4. And we're going to do the same thing. And just be careful that your pick is on these two strings now. Then we're going to go to strings 4 and 3. And this is pretty much the last place you really are going to be playing power chords. It's not too common to play on the other strings, and we're going to start picking 4 and 3 now. Okay, so that's that one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now you've gotten kind of the full range of power chords. Okay, and then there's some open power chords that are super easy that we need to talk about really fast. So we're going to take our first finger, we're going to go to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and with our pick, we're simply going to play the 6th and the 5th string. That's an open power chord. It's called E5. Then the next really common one, you take your finger over to the D string, and now with your pick, you play the 5th and the 4th string. For A5, and then the last common one, take your finger to the 3rd string, play the 4th and the 3rd, gives you D5. Those are very common power chords. And then, why are we learning this? Because it's so common in, in rock music, like... If you don't recognize that, that's Iron Man by Black Sabbath, just as an example. So they, these power chords get played all of the time. Back to the one of the first lessons we did, where we did 5, 3, open, for example, that we could apply power chords to it to make it heavier. So instead of just playing 5, let's get the pinky in there. Now to 7, make it a power chord. Play those two strings on there. Come down to 3. And then use your pointer finger, 2nd fret on the A string. And we get our open power chord. So we just turn that melody into power chords. And now it sounds heavier, which is great. And that's an A5 to a G5 to an E5. You could also alternatively play the open A5, a power chord down here on the G5, and then the open E5. You could also do it that way if you wanted to. Or you could go. You'll find on the guitar there's a lot of ways to play the same exact thing. So yeah, as you seek out rock songs, you're going to find these power chords happening all the time. So that's why we were learning them today. So have fun with that. God bless.